know this is not really an easily understood concept on social media, but I need you to remind yourself that healthy people are actually the quiet ones and toxic people are actually the loudest. And unfortunately, those are the ones that get validated the most. I'm actually concerned about this because if you're a consumer on social media and you don't actually have real life friends, relationships, or contacts, or you don't really have much real life experience, and you look to social media as like your framework for understanding social life or reality, you're really going to misunderstand reality because you have no perception of reality other than what you consume on social media. The thing is, though, on social media, as much as people share real life stories, it is a toxic things that become viral on here. It's the toxic people that get a lot of attention on here. It's the toxic topics, let's say narcissistic relationships, cheating, heartbreaks, calling out somebody, this person, that person, cancel culture, celebrity gossip. And I'm not saying people's real life stories that involve pain are like toxic in nature, but I'm rather pointing to the sensationalization of these different things that occur in our lives that are actually toxic in our nature. And if we ourselves don't break away from that pattern, we actually end up harboring that toxic energy and we can become toxic. Like, people don't think about this, but anyways, let me not go off track here. When you talk about toxic stuff on here and even act toxic or call toxic people out, like your content is about toxicity, you are gonna get more attention, you're gonna get more mass approval because once again, people are drawn to that. But that also means that when you actually talk about healthy stuff, or you could just make a neutral statement, or you just talk about whatever, that's you're talking about your personal journey. But because a lot of people are loud with their toxicity more than they are quiet about their neutral standpoint or their healthy perspectives, that the comments that you receive are sometimes going to be like ridiculous, that had nothing to do with your original post, where people just put words in your mouth, they just make assumptions about what they think that you mean. It just goes into a completely different direction and you're like, how did they even get to that from my post? Or sometimes you could even be really discouraged because you're just trying to have a healthy conversation, but people take it out of your context or they completely twist what you are trying to say, or you might not even get that much traction on your post because it's not toxic enough. But this is my reminder that, once again, healthy people or people that have a really good life are not the ones that are like loud on here a lot of the times. It's the people that don't have functional or just stable life that often are the loudest, whether they're the commenter. Oftentimes they're commenters, like these are people that are like very loud, keyboard warriors. They go around making comments, and I mean, it's not always commenters, but even like content creators or whatever it is, people in general, they're louder with their toxic reactions, toxic feeling. Just don't assume that just because you don't get a lot of support from the quiet watchers or silent watchers that you don't have people agreeing with you, because once again, toxic people are the loudest. It's the same thing, like you are more likely to speak about your negative experience than a positive experience, right? But that doesn't mean that there are no positive experiences. You're just more reactive to the negative experiences. And unfortunately, on social media, those negative experiences become more highlighted and it draws more attention and it forms more bonds. And because most people are chronically lonely and isolated, they like to find places where they feel like they have a sense of belonging to. And unfortunately, negativity draws that in. So I want you to really think about what this conversation is about right now. It's really important for you to realize this. Otherwise, you might have a really skewed perception of reality where you think that when people are not saying anything, it means that you have no support. That's not what it is, especially on social media. There's a lot of people that are just silent and they could really agree with you, but they're the ones that are just scrolling and they like your stuff or they just agree with you, nod, and then just move on. This is why I think it's so important to have a real life support system, because social media is it's so fun, but also it's so screwed.